projections, please. Skip, I'll start with you first. How far can the Eagles go?
Do you want me to speak with my heart or my head, Stephen A.? Because I'm excited. I'm happy to be back. I don't want to be an early buzzkill here. I don't want to be Mr. Negative. I'm going to speak with my heart. I'm going to push aside my better judgment. I'm going to say that Florida Gulf Coast will beat Florida on Friday night. I said it. I jinxed them. But I am on the bandwagon. Stephen A., I tweeted after they beat Georgetown, which probably should be no real shock, given Georgetown's history in the tournament. I said I'm on the bandwagon. I'm ready to drive the bandwagon. I am sold on this team. It is so March Madness. It has emerged as the Cinderella in a tournament filled with ugly stepsisters. Because, Stephen A., I can't find one even really good team. I see no great teams. I see Florida Gulf Coast. I see Brett Comer as the best point guard I've seen in this tournament, bar none. I see Sherwood Brown having an NBA body. I'm not saying he's going to be a great NBA player, but at 6'4", he leads them in rebounding, and he makes tough shot after shot after shot. They play fearless basketball because they know they're good enough to win these games. They went on the road and played tough teams, big college teams all year. They went to Duke, and they went to St. John's, they went to Iowa State, and they went to VCU, and they beat Miami at home by 12. So they're not afraid. So, Stephen A., at Jerry World on Friday night, even though it's a big stage, literally a big stage with a tough shooting background, I like it that they're playing the second game and that the winner of the Kansas-Michigan game ahead of them, that crowd will stay and root for the Eagles. I think they'll have a huge home court advantage on Friday night. And I'm not sold on Florida. They lost 7 fairly close games. I think they're beatable in the last couple of minutes. And I think Brett Comer will control the game late. And Florida Gulf Coast will be the talk of the country once again on Friday night.
Well, I get where you're coming from, and obviously none of your arguments are implausible. I can't, poo-poo them, as they say. I can't knock them because you make some very, very valid points. And certainly when you're talking about, Florida Gulf Coast, Skip, come on now. Nobody expected them to be in this position. I think that Georgetown was incredibly, incredibly disappointing. Yep. I couldn't believe it. You got a guy like Otto Porter, out there. He's one of the best players in the nation. You've got to evolve your offense around him and get that man the ball and let him take you to the promised land. You simply can't do what Georgetown did, and that's something that we can talk about at a later date. They gave up a 22-1. Florida Gulf Coast had a 21-2 run against Georgetown. Okay, San Diego State, not that big of a deal to me. I thought that was a pick'em game. They got it done, 17-0 run in the second half. I like Brown a lot. I like this kid Thompson, no doubt about it. You're in, what is this, Atlantic Sun Conference? A lot of people don't realize this. I think this is the advantage, Skip, that they have. Because they're coming from that conference, because they opened their doors to students in 1997, they weren't even eligible to participate in postseason play until a year ago. What that means is there's no real history about the program. There's no real history about the coach. And as a result of that, anything he throws at you, he could potentially surprise you and really create some problems for you. So I get your point. And if they're able to get past Florida, it wouldn't shock me at all if they shocked the world by beating a Michigan or a Kansas simply because of the enigma that they are. Yep. But I can't believe the point that you pointed out when you brought up the fact that, again, if they were to beat Florida, there would be a strong home court contingent in their favor against a Kansas or Michigan. We all know that Florida, to a large degree, is Gator Nation. And as a result of that, you're not going to have that home court advantage against Florida. And as a result of that, I'm looking at Billy Donovan, third straight year, going to the Sweet 16. I know this man can coach. He's a 2-time national champion. I know he knows what to do. And as a result of that, I know that these guys, Florida, even though there's going to be an immense amount of pressure on them, I know that they have the ability to respond because more so than anybody else in the country, Florida doesn't want to fall the Florida Gulf Coast. You don't want to do that. That will not look good. Well, so as a result of that, I'm just going to go with, because of that reason, because of that element, I'm going to lean towards Florida. I think it'll be a nail-biter. I think it'll be tight. I don't think that Florida Gulf Coast should be dismissed. I think they'll gain our respect. They are clearly the Cinderella story of this NCAA tournament. But you're going to have to show me that you, being an amateur, a novice in the NCAA tournament, can roll up in the Sweet 16 and take out a Billy Donovan coached Florida Gators squad. I can't go that far. I can't do that to Billy Donovan. He's too great of a coach. He's accomplished too much, and I know he knows what's at stake, and I think he will have his troops ready, especially since he called out fifth-year senior Mike Rosario, played like garbage in the first round, got benched, comes out last night, hits 25 points, drops 6 threes because Billy Donovan admitted that he called him out in front of his entire team. That's a big deal because now he's up and everybody knows they could be in danger of being called out as well. I think they'll answer the bell, respond to the challenge in somewhat of a nail-biter. I think it'll be real tight, but Florida will pull away late and win the next game.